Carol. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I just basically discuss a bunch of random things. Lately, a lot of diabetes related topics, so thought I would bring something up. I'm actually a member of several diabetes online groups, and one common thing that I will see people post is, oh, I don't get those good graphs, or my child doesn't have those good graphs, and I feel like we're doing something wrong because I see all these people posting these awesome numbers from their Dexcom, and I'm really struggling, or my kid is really struggling, and we must be doing something wrong. You're not. As anyone with type 1 diabetes can tell you, it's a struggle for all of us. It's just that a lot of times we post our good numbers, our good days, our good graphs because we want to celebrate those things and we want to share, hey, look at this awesome graph, this awesome day that I had. I'm so happy. But what you may not realize is there's a lot of days that we don't post about. And I recently posted actually one of those days on Instagram that was not so good and kind of mentioned that I was going to do a video about it, and I meant to do it that week, but I didn't. Time kind of got away from me. So basically, this happened a couple of weeks ago. This is a moment that was caused by my own stupidity. I have had type 1 diabetes for going on 33 years now, so you would think that I would have this all figured out and that I would just be an expert at blood sugar management. But you know what? Every now and again, I do something really stupid. So, bit of history. I had mentioned in a previous video back in late May, early June that I was having a lot of issues with blood sugars and infusion sets, and I had a lot going on. And I mentioned my grandma being in hospice. Unfortunately, she sadly passed away end of June, and we scheduled her memorial service for July because that was when our family could get together. She was being cremated, so we were able to postpone her memorial service for a later month. But because she lived in Florida, and Florida's kind of a bit hot in July, that meant that we were going to be there in one of the hottest parts of the year. And I bring this up because my parents and I flew down together. I'm single, I live alone. My parents just said, hey, why don't you fly down with us? We can drive you to the airport. I was like, great, because I really don't like driving, so perfect for me. I had someone to fly with. Our plane was delayed. We had a lot of issues getting down there. We spent the first night at a hotel in the Orlando airport. Really nice room. Didn't get to spend much time in it though because we got there super late. And then the next morning we woke up, got our rental car, put our overnight carry-on bags. We're only going to be there a few days, so we didn't have much. So we just did the carry-on bag thing into the car and took off. Now, it was going to be several hours before we could check into our next hotel room. And I wasn't thinking about the fact that, oh, this bag is going to be in the car. I should probably move my insulin to my purse. I had my insulin with my diabetes stuff for when I went through security, so it would all be in one location. And that bag got left in the car. Now, the day of her funeral, I had a really bad blood sugar day. That's not what this video is about. Obviously, you're going to a memorial service. You're not going to be working out much. In my family, we followed up with a big carby dinner at a restaurant because we're Northern Europeans. Carbs are a way of life for us. So, yeah. Northern European descent, anyway. Very carby people. So we had this carby meal, etc., etc. I actually had to change my my infusion set, my insulin pump set a day early because by the time evening rolled around after we'd had the big midday dinner meal thing, I was noticing that I only had like 18 units left, and I said, there's no way I'm going to make it through the evening dinner, followed by nighttime with only 18 units left. I have to go change my infusion set, so we went back to the hotel so I could do that. The new infusion set worked pretty well, so I was happy about that. The next day, blood sugars went pretty well. Everything was awesome. I started noticing, though, that my blood sugars were responding to the insulin in my pump from that. By the way, the next day, I forgot to mention this, the day after the memorial, once again, left my insulin in my bag in the car all day long. So 2 days, my insulin's in the car in super hot Florida weather in the truck. Not a great thing, but you know, again, I'm giving myself a pass on that part of it. But my blood sugar was responding to this insulin when I got back home a bit like it would respond to regular. So basically, it would take an hour to kick in, half an hour to an hour to kick in, and then if I didn't have enough carbs on board, my blood sugars would just tank. And you know, it was very hard to manage. It was very much like when I first got diagnosed. So, you know, it was a big balancing act. Well, on the day in question, a couple weeks ago, I had decided later in the day that I was going to go to the gym. I've been not going to the gym as frequently because of the virus that's going around. Actually, haven't been there since this day. But anyway, the gym that I go to, I kickbox out. And kickboxing requires a lot of adrenaline, and adrenaline makes my blood sugar spike. So this is a, you know, hardcore aerobic workout, pretty intense, but afterwards my blood sugars always go incredibly high. This particular day after dinner, I was noticing, oh, my blood sugars are not responding. I should take more insulin. I kept taking more insulin on the way to the gym, more and more, etc., etc. Got to the gym, suddenly I noticed my blood sugars were trending down, like the Dexcom arrow was downward. So I thought, okay, I will put my pump on exercise mode, which I never do because, again, adrenaline makes my blood sugars go up. But I thought, well, I'll put my pump on exercise mode, at least for the first half of the class, so that way I don't go low. We made it through halftime. I checked my pump, and my blood sugars, my Dexcom graph had leveled off, and it had been level for several minutes. And I thought, well, I should be fine to go back on my regular profile. So I turned exercise mode off, went back on the regular profile, got done working out. My blood sugars had started to creep up a bit. I delivered a correction bolus. I was driving home. Blood sugars were going up the entire drive home. And I was delivering correction bolus while I was driving, you know, just kind of doing the rapid bolus thing so, you know, I could pay attention to the road and not have to look at the pump. And got back home and my blood sugars were actually high. And I thought, well, I've already delivered quite a bit of insulin, but it doesn't seem to be taking effect. Completely neglecting to remember that it'll take effect later. So I gave myself an injection via a regular syringe. And took my shower, and about half an hour after I got done with my shower, I noticed my blood sugars were dropping. So I had just a few carbs, like 15 grams of carbs. Blood sugars started spiking. So I thought, okay, I need to take more insulin. This is where the stupidity on my part comes in. Took too much insulin. Blood sugars were not responding by the time I went to bed. Rather than being patient, I took even more insulin. And then my blood sugars bottomed out, went urgent low. I got woken up by the urgent low alarm. I was not sleeping well to begin with. This particular night, I think I only ended up with like 3 hours sleep because I kept getting Dexcom alarms. And so I had the urgent low alarm, and I ate too many carbs because I was half asleep. My brain was not functioning. I was really tired. and my blood sugars rose, and they did not come back down. But at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take another injection. I don't want the urgent low alarm. I want to be able to try to sleep. So I kept doing bolus after bolus after bolus, and it just wasn't responding. I woke up. I mean, I was not really sleeping well, but you know, my alarm went off, and for about 5 hours straight, my blood sugars had been incredibly high because I had overcorrected the low after overcorrecting the high. And I took a picture on Instagram, and I'll try to post it here if I remember. If not, I'll use it as the thumbnail for the video. But basically, what happened was I completely missed the time and range target for the day. I think I was only in range like 60% of the day, because all night long my blood sugars were not doing well. I was just like, I give up trying. I again had overcorrected the low, overcorrected the high, overcorrected the low, everything with, you know, it was all just a mess. And I got done with the day, and I was like, 33 years, I should know how to do this. I started out on regular and NPH, so you would think, you know, with Novolog that's gone bad, that's kind of responding like R, you would think I would know how to make that adjustment, but I don't anymore. So my blood sugars were just all kinds of messed up, and I eventually ended up just throwing out that vial. This was not too long after the memorial service, and I still had like a third of a vial left, but I had a few extra vials on hand, thankfully, so I was just like, I'm just gonna start a new one, and it's been responding well, and that's been good. But yeah, I still have days where I do stupid stuff, and my blood sugars respond accordingly. So if you see a graph from someone with diabetes online and you're jealous of it and you think, my blood sugars never do that, why can't I get my blood sugars to look that perfect? They seem to have everything figured out. I promise you, most of us don't. It's a shot in the dark, in some cases literally, and we're just doing the best we can. And you know, we like to celebrate our victories, and so that's why those graphs tend to go up. But yeah, even those of us who have had diabetes for a long time and seem to have it figured out, we really don't ultimately. So anyway, take care, guys. Like, subscribe, all that. I'll try to post more videos. I have an idea for doing, I've seen some people do this. It's the favorite sites to wear an insulin pump and a CGM, and I have an idea for what I want to do to cover that topic, so I may do one of those in the future. But anyway, for now, yeah, take care, guys. Bye.